conference. We have an amazing talk for you today. We'd like to thank educators in VR for their support, and we'd like to thank American Indian Resource Center for their support. And we would like to start this off by inviting you up on stage to take a photo with these wonderful presenters, and so that we can promote their talk and your participation and support of students in VR. So come on up here, and Donna will take our photos as we emote. So I'm gonna, if you're Paul, come on up. Rich, come on up. Amanda, come on up. Let's see, Karen and Roddy and Mark and Drive Creative and all y'all, come on up here. All y'all.
Come on up,
and
don't
Rich
be
and
shy.
Brett,
Thanks
come on
for...
up. And this is what we do. Whoever's standing in front, stand there and stay still, don't move. And then everybody who's not in front, get close to them, but not in front of them, but not behind them. And then Donna, who's in that green shirt right there, hovering like a magical wizard, she's gonna tell us how we take that picture. Brett, Paul, come on down here. Valbrian.
Now if everybody could move in closer a little bit. Yay.
Come on, AJ, come on down here. Take this picture with us.
Yeah, make sure, I've got lots of room in my pictures, so make sure you're not behind someone else. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to count down. So I want you guys to start throwing up emojis, and then I'm going to start counting down. And I'll tell you when to stop with emojis, okay? So I'm going to, hang on.
Wait for it.
5, 4, 3, and I got it. You guys can
Awesome.
stop. Thank you so much.
You guys are awesome. We're gonna make our way back down to our favorite spot to watch this awesome talk. And I'm going to do two things. I'm going to kick everybody off the stage who's not supposed to be on the stage. I love doing that. I love you guys as audience members, but the power of being able to just kick everybody off stage is kind of wonderful too. And I'm going to mute everybody and pass it over to you, Polly. And at the end, right at the end after questions, I'll come back up on stage and let people know what we're gonna do next. Sound good? Sound excellent? You got it? Is everybody, what I would ask of the presenters is make sure that you're on megaphone and you're amplifying your voice so that we get a good record, and we will chime in if we can't hear you. All right, take it away.
Okay.
Well, good afternoon and a warm welcome to everybody to our session. We are really excited to be here today to tell you about our work in XR storytelling and to share some examples of learners making immersive stories. All of your presenters today are hardworking researchers in VR, so we want to share the work that we've been doing. We're also caring educators, and we're dedicated to empowering student voice, which is the focus of this particular conference, in that we want to put the spotlight on students. Indeed, we, all of us here on the stage, are enthusiastic students in VR. In this rapidly evolving space of immersive tech, there are students in VR. I'm seeing lots of hearts. There's students in VR of all ages across the lifespan. If you are also a student in VR, let's see some emojis. See a couple. So what we want to share with you today is some work around XR storytelling and how this relates to STEM education. We also have some case studies from AR, and we have a really wonderful case study too that Poe and Quincy will share with you. Unfortunately, we cannot get the live demonstration to work, so we've had to make a video clip, workaround solution. The live demonstration is obviously better, but best we can do. We've got a poster here, XR Storytellers. This is created by my 8-year-old son, who is now being homeschooled due to the COVID-19. And we've got some Power Rangers, Digimon, and Pokemon, and they're all here in XR. At the end, we also will have some time for your questions, and we hope you have a good discussion. Your team today, we are all from the University of Saskatchewan and University, Simon Fraser University in Canada. And we are all well aware of limitations and challenges in the space of immersive education, but we are very excited about the potential for teaching and learning. And, you know, if you can just imagine students building virtual worlds as homework, and imagine a classroom where students are collaborating with each other to co-create immersive stories that contribute their knowledge to the curriculum and in their own ways, in their own terms, for their own purposes, which to me sounds fabulous. And that's what we are going to share with you today. 3 objectives that we have is 1, to actually give you some examples of the work that we've been doing. We would also like to share some of the lessons that we have learned and how this can apply to STEM education and actually cross-curricular, across the curriculum. And we're also really looking to find people to collaborate with who have similar ideas, and we'd love to talk more with you. One last poster from my son. We've got some more students in VR. Here's a family. This is so cool. I love this game. And that's our introduction. So you're all muted. We're amplified. Keep your questions close, and you can send them at the end. And we really look forward to having a good discussion. Quincy and Poe.
Okay, Paul. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Quincy.
Okay. I think Paul is dealing with her sound system, maybe.
Do you want to start?
Yes. Okay, welcome everyone. We are here to present our research a project about how we using VR to collaborate with students to create immersive science story. Okay, next. So basically, our research project is based on the theory that Dr. Paul Tan has established in her research framework. So science literacy and scientific literacy are 3 visions in her recent publication. Vision 1 is about knowledge and understanding. So basically is student learn science knowledge through typical traditional classroom setting. So vision 2 is application and critical thinking, is how you apply those science knowledge into your daily work or life and develop your thinking and knowledge beyond that. Oh, sorry about that. Paul is talking now.
I still don't hear Poe. I think she's having issues.
Okay, where we are at, sorry.
Quincy, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I sure can.
Yeah.
So
okay. So basically, Paul just messaging me. He couldn't figure out his mic now. So okay. So I have to move forward. So the research question is, how can VR help with forming and more relational connection with the viruses or our immune systems beyond just function, functional and technical relationship? So these are three photos, couple photos that Paul took in her research field in a kindergarten classroom. So typically, traditional way is a student will go on the field and collect all those materials and bring back into the classroom and use the hand to touch it, experience it, and learn science. So we talk about
Hello.
embodiment. Oh, Paul, you are back. Great.
Can you hear me now?
We
Yes.
sure can.
Okay, that's
Okay.
good.
I
I'm so
apologize.
sorry.
I cannot present your theoretical framework very well. I apologize. So go ahead.
That's okay. Sorry, everyone. I was having some mic problems, but Quincy, you did really well. So, yeah, as Quincy was saying, is that we built our beta platform on the theoretical framework that focuses on the definition of a scientifically literate person. So, from the slide before, you should have seen Vision 1, Vision 2, and Vision 3. So, Vision 1 is more focused on the scientific understanding and knowledge. Vision 2 is focused on the application of that knowledge. And Vision 3 is what is the new part that we are trying to bring to the science education field, which is more of the relational and connection component to the scientific knowledge. So on this slide, what you'll see here is the connective piece that we did with kids at the preschool level so that they can connect to the materials they use, the environment and the place that they learn in, and be connected to things that are not human and that are not alive. So next slide. So what we did was is that we decided to think about what are some of the ways to make it more obvious or spark awareness on relationality on learning environment and specifically using virtual reality. So what we did here is that in collaboration with a startup company, we worked on a virtual reality 3D environment of what it looks like in your body about the immune system. So what we're going to be showing in the next few slides is that it's a co-collaborative and co-created storytelling about the immune system. And we worked with 2 grade 5 students to create the story. So how it works is that first we teach the grade 5 students on what the immune system is, and then we have them co-create the story about how they learn about the immune system. So before we show you those videos, I'm going to pass it back to Quincy because Quincy played a critical role in helping create this virtual space to explain the immune system.
Thank you, Paul. So the purpose, before we design any learning environment, we need to think about what the purpose of the VR using in this pedagogy. So the purpose we end up with is to create a VR platform to allow a relational and collaborative story making and storytelling among students and educators. So the learning outcome is the student is no longer a passive and disengaged learner, and instead they become a knowledge and story creator to bring their own imagination and understanding of science. The second outcome is when learners are in a high embodiment environment, there are higher long-term learning outcomes, also including a deeper, meaningful connection to the topic. So in this prototype, there are a couple, 4 elements involved in this design work. First, we need to design 3D elements such as cells, bacteria, blood vessel. Second, we need someone to do the video editing to capture the story part of the kids. Second is implement UI UX design principles as an instructional design component. Fourth, we use VR platform, which we use iExpo as a back-end engine to support this. Next.
Welcome to the blood vessel. I am Caffrey. And I am Nisha. Together we will tell you about the immune system. In your body, there is something called the immune system. It acts like a small army. For example, in an army, there are different weapons used by different troops. In a war, different troops have different responsibilities. Each troop does a different job. For example, one troop may attack the enemies with grenades, and then the other troop may be the lookout group to see where the enemy is and if they're coming close. Much like the immune system, there are different cells that need.
Yeah, this is the prototype we just share a portion of it with you guys. Thank you.
And just to quickly add is that what you see is that if you had an Oculus Go or you had the headset, you can actually put that on and be completely immersed in that blood vessel, floating around with the white blood cells and the bacteria. And then there are specific hotspots that you can click, which will show you videos of it later, about specific ways that the kids decided to learn about immune system in their own storytelling way. And most of the time, it's not through a straight story, but we'll show you in the next slide, later on slides.
Right, now pass it over to Sarah.
Awesome. Okay, hi everyone. My name's Sarah Cassidy. I'm an undergraduate student at the University of Saskatchewan, and we're just going to shift things over a little bit and talk about augmented reality. So augmented reality, it's an real world environment that's enhanced by visual information, so images, sounds, animations, videos, GPS data, haptic feedback. There's all of these different layers creating this experience that's kind of also you're like experiencing in your real world environment. So myself as well as Janelle will be demonstrating examples of augmented reality projects that we created for an educational technology and design course. So we created these projects all levels of experience. So if we can go to the next slide with my poster on it. Okay, so this is, like I said, a demonstration of an AR design project created by myself, along with my partner, Jaden Smith, also an undergrad education student at the U of S. So the term that we chose to highlight within our project was digital storytelling. And we chose to explain this concept by telling a virtual story using AR. So the next video shows a demonstration of our Zap code being used, which leads you through a story about a lost cat named Greg, whose story guides the viewer through different aspects of digital storytelling. So it's going to talk about different concepts of digital storytelling, like establishing a point of view and having a compelling soundtrack. So we'll just take a look at that. Okay. Yeah, so as you can see, you click through it, it shows the different factors
it's
associated
new
with
now?
telling a digital story. Awesome. Okay. So, I was just really interested in digital storytelling using AR as a student as well as a teacher candidate. And I have like a kind of few really, I think, important and valuable takeaways when it comes to using AR and digital storytelling. So, for one, it engages various literacies. So, when creating digital stories using VR, you're requiring students to demonstrate the understanding of various literacies. So it's not just expressing knowledge through one skill, something like writing a paper, something more one-dimensional, but you're creating an experience. So students are engaging with these different literacies by enriching their stories, like we were talking before, with art and music and all of the different elements. And one, this is an enriching experience for the students who are creating the work, but at the same time, other students in your class, other students that are like experiencing the projects and getting to view them, they're developing those literacies as well by, like experiencing them and interpreting the messages. From the perspective of a student, I really appreciated the creative freedom I had when creating an AR design project. So it created a really unique opportunity for inquiry-based learning because it challenged me to explore and understand the ZapWorks program as well as view my subject, digital storytelling, in a new way as I considered how to create an experience to define the topic. I also have here that I really feel like using AR for digital storytelling promotes mindfulness as well. Because when we think about components of mindfulness like intention, attention, and like having a positive attitude, creating digital storytelling in AR requires all of those things. So creating an effective and moving digital story requires a really clear intention of what themes you want to communicate. You have to pay attention to layer different artistic elements. And for students like myself who had no prior experience with AR, I had to take on a beginner's mindset. So the intention required for digital storytelling, I found, really promotes a mindful design experience. My last point, I think that can be a really powerful tool for amplifying student voices. So I've always been really involved in activism. This was something I really took an interest in, especially over the past 2 years as I was the coordinator of the Women's Center at on my campus, because I feel like AR digital storytelling has the power to amplify student voices, because that's what activism and awareness is all about, right? It's all about stories and sharing our stories with each other and encouraging empathy and taking on different points of view. So yeah, stories are how we communicate and relate to each other. So I think this is a really powerful tool which students can use to create experiences to share their own stories, raise awareness, and advocate for positive change. And with that, I'll hand it off to Janelle.
Well done. Thank you, Sarah. Janelle, I think you need to amplify your voice. I think our room is troubled with audio issues. Can anybody hear Janelle?
I can.
I can hear. I can hear.
No, I can't hear her.
Oh, I cannot
I
hear
can.
Janelle, but I can hear you, Paula.
I can't hear.
Can anybody in the audience hear Janelle?
No.
Me.
Okay, some can. So
Yeah, okay. Hear you clearly. Try one more time for me, Janelle. Are you saying anything, Janelle? Are you talking right now?
Can she re-enter?
Yeah. Polly, Janelle, can you go out and re-enter, please? Do you know how?
So as Janelle leaves, and then she'll re-enter, and hopefully we get the glitches in the audio in this room addressed. She should appear. But here we have an AR demonstration of learning, and this is a different way of learning about cells. Can we hear from you, Janelle? I'm still having audio issues. The what you see in the clip is that and Janelle designed that experience, and she's used it with her classroom. The students have an opportunity to actually explore, and they can explore images, audios, videos, embedded quizzes, and get to have a more interactive way of learning. So these are a couple screenshots from the augmented reality experience that she designed, and then included this in her own lessons for teaching students in a way that it's going to engage students in curriculum. There's more creativity and freedom for students to explore. In addition, learners can create their own experiences very easy. This tool in particular is mostly drag and drop. So it's similar to making a PowerPoint presentation in that, you're dragging and dropping things like, video, audio, images onto a timeline, which then fosters creativity. And you can use technology in your classroom, this one for very little cost. So there's other ways also, some work that Janelle has done, and this would be with integrating VR. So there are so many different media now for integrating virtual experiences into the classroom. And this is one example. She actually created an entire media study guide that looks towards travel and cultivating empathy in a global community, bringing more authentic learning and engaging all the senses in the curriculum.
It's a race against time.
Well done.
So if you have not yet watched Everest VR Journey to the Top of the World, I highly recommend you put it on your to-do list. It's really amazing and shows like all the new opportunities we have for engagement and learning and exploring and just really making learning come to life. And there are other immersive docu-series that can be found on Oculus TV. The Everest VR is just one that will take you on a journey to the top of the world, but it may very well be the closest that many of us actually get to experiencing Everest. So invite you all to put that one on your to-do list and to have a good exploration. So we have a couple more video clips now. We thought we would save these ones for the end, and I will let Poe and Quincy talk a bit more about these immersive stories that were bedded into the Cell VR experience.
Hi there, everyone. This is Poe
We
again.
can hear you.
Okay, good. You can hear me. Yeah, so in the next couple of slides, what you'll see is two videos of the two kids that I was telling you about who are the co-creators of the narrative story in the immune system, the one that you were flying through in the beginning of the presentation. So you'll see two videos, each created by one of the two kids. You'll see that this is another way for them to learn about the immune system rather than the narrated story. So you'll see two raps about two different types of immune cells.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Our audience, are you guys ready? I see some emojis. Okay, some of you are ready. That looks good. That looks even better. Okay, here we go.
I am the B cell. I hunt for bad cells, detecting like a soldier. Ah, a virus, bacteria, it's both. Tag the enemy's attack, the antibodies tag. You're it, ready to fight. Germs, no visible. Immune cells attack. Immune cells attacking, attacking.
So well done. And we have one final clip to show you.
I am the T cell, buddy the B cell. Hunting, hunting, I will go from tag to tag. Here we go. Antibodies, antibodies, we see germs. Attack, attack, destroy. Go, go, go.
I have
Can you
some
hear me
hearts
now?
too. Yes, I sure can.
Okay.
And okay, that wraps up what we wanted to share with you today. I will join my team over here. I guess we're maybe let's move a little more into the center of the stage. And we have a few questions, two of them that we put on to discuss, but we're really interested if you have questions. We would love to answer those. So you can use the raise hand. You should all see the to raise your hand. So there's, if you have a question, you can click on it, and we would love to entertain any of your questions.
You have a question from
I think we.
Jen?
Okay, let's see. Oh, went away.
I didn't realize I was unmute. Or I didn't realize. Oh wait, is this gonna be a daily thing?
That is a great question. We've just had a kind of a random, is this going to be a daily thing? I'm going to give you my answer as a student in VR, as an educator and a researcher. I would love if this was a daily thing for curriculum and learning. I think that immersive education really has the opportunity to unleash the genius and that our young people have. And I'd love to even see more immersive storytelling with young people to look at issues we have in our world about climate change, and to get young people and students involved in creating solutions to complex challenges we have in our world. So great question. I would love to see this as everyday learning in classrooms all around the world. Does anyone on the panel have anything to add?
No, I definitely agree with everything you said. We also have another question from Raul after.
Hi, you kind of just answered it. And so I want to shift it. You said that we see great potential going forward and you'd like this to be more regular. But how do we really make this accessible to everyone? Is there a fast path or something that we can bring this everywhere?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I think I would say with all innovation in education, especially around technology, we have to first of all look at where are the problems of learning and where people are at. So for instance, this is why we have some of the augmented reality examples, because that's something that can be done in, in most classrooms. And it's a way that young people can get in their voice, their creativity, and they can essentially be part of co-creating the curriculum as they then present their work and share to each other. So some of the low-tech solutions are very important because it makes it more accessible. So you can't just, throw in really high-tech solutions with big expensive headsets in areas that's not going to help there. But that's a great question, and like everything in education, it's one step at a time and paying attention and moving forward. It's great that all of you are here in this space because we are definitely stronger together as we can work together. And then as we can create tools that are tools that can be used for free, like the Google VR now to make your own 360 expeditions. That's a wonderful tool, and I'm really glad that Google's created that because it can be available. You just need to have computer and internet. So it's a great question, and we're grassroots at the beginning and need to keep paying attention as we move forward in this space.
Yeah, I also wanted to add. Oh.
That's okay. I was just going to say to piggyback off of what Polly said. I had to restart my headset completely, so I hope everyone can hear me now. But that's something that I'm really asking myself too as a teacher who's just in the midst of doing my master's. I'm really looking at how to integrate technology into my classroom with almost zero budget. So the AR is a really feasible way of doing that, and as well to extend learning. So figuring out ways to give VR experiences to my kids, my students, is something that I'm working on right now in my master's, because I think it is important to extend our learning and make things more realistic and relatable for students to make those connections between curriculum and real life. So having found that VR, the Mount Everest videos in Oculus TV, I think would be a great way to take an extension of a novel study and really give it some real life experience, being able to show students what it's like on the mountain at low cost without traveling to these places. There's locations in France that we can go explore, and being a French immersion teacher, that's huge. So those are some things that I'm looking at and very interested to figure out ways of bringing technology in as well.
I was also going to add, this is Poe, I was also going to add that the project that Quincy and I are doing, we are also thinking about, accessibility and things like that. And so that's actually at the forefront of our research. And so that's why the platform that we showed you through that video is accessible on a 2D platform, which is just on your computer screen. So in addition to, having access to a computer and internet, the part of the co-creation part from the kids are also part of the important process into creating that that immersive type of learning. So with our project moving forward, we will always have a 2D format so that it can also be a one to the masses rather than a one-to-one, so that for classes that don't have headsets or don't have phones or cardboard and that type of thing, the teacher can still explore the blood vessel through the computer screen with the kids. I don't know, Quincy, I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
Yeah, it's perfect. And thank you, Paul, present this. So basically, always I stand at the accessibility part to look at the whole technology, how we deliver to the end user, and also always keep in mind what end user will see experience if they don't have VR headset. Do we also provide extra option for them to see the learning material? So yeah, that's it.
I'd also like to add one more thing, just in terms of the accessibility of augmented reality. Like I was saying, I think a big part of developing digital literacy, I mean, one is the creation, but also those literacy skills are being developed by students in taking in that material and learning to interpret that material, which I think is also kind of just another benefit of being able to use AR in terms of amplifying student voices, because those Zap codes can be used by anyone. The Zapwork app is free. You can just download it onto your device, and then anyone can scan that Zap code wherever and be able to experience that story. So yeah, I think especially when it comes to being able to just like access the experiences that are being made, that's another way that AR is just a really good option.
One final comment that just to build on the other comments of my team. So we're all living and working in Canada, and here in particular, we are across all our provinces looking at ways that we can meaningfully indigenize our curriculum so that we can have Indigenous ways of knowing in all of our curriculum areas. And we're really looking forward to the work that we're doing to be able to get our First Nations students to tell their immersive scientific stories. So it's a platform that will allow more voice, more inclusion, more ways of knowing, and it's refining the existing curriculum is a lot of work and a lot of change. And this is actually a simple, very open-ended solution. It's, you know, it's non-hegemonic. You just get to actually, you know, put in your voice and be able to share it. So we're really looking forward to those possibilities also.
Okay, we have a question from CM Dan C. Is he still here? CM Dan C.
Volume. Oh, there he is.
Oh, there he is.
What? You?
Hello. We can hear you. CM Dan C.
Oh, Dan, you have an audio issue. It's coming out as static. If you might be able to message them and they can read your message.
Good point.
If we give him a moment, he can send you the message. You can tell. See his hand? Isn't it awesome? He's typing something.
Awesome.
That's great. We just in particular seem to have audio issues in this room. Any other questions while we wait? You're a very good audience, by the way.
Dan, we're all waiting, so now there's going to be a lot of pressure on you to ask a really good question.
There's another question that just came in too.
Okay.
Do we want to take that one while we wait?
Yeah.
Okay, so sorry if I mispronounced. I think it's Rels CYT1.
Yep, that's me.
Go for it.
So I have a question. So I'm kind of new to this, and I'm just wondering what this is.
Good question, ladies.
Yeah, well, that's a great question. Does anyone want to answer first, or do you want me to jump in?
I guess I can take a swing at it.
Sure.
I mean, I'm brand new to this as well. This is actually the first presentation that I've done in alt space, and the whole Oculus headset's brand new to me as well. So please forgive me. But to me, this is a space in which people from across the world can come in and communicate and learn about education from one another. And it's a way to take just a new way of communicating and interacting with one another in a different platform. That's what I take from this as a whole. In terms of this conference or this meeting space, we're talking about augmented reality and virtual reality in a classroom setting, and how we can engage students in the classrooms, K-12 classrooms, using virtual reality and augmented reality.
Okay, so basically you're saying like this alt space would be like a classroom for students, like for like
exactly. So if we had a classroom full of headsets, or 30 headsets, then my goal, I would love to have my students be able to come into alt space and other programs and use it as an educational tool. So that we could learn in this space, and with schools being closed right now in our province and across the country, and elsewhere in the world, this would be a great tool to have right now if we had access, that every student had a headset. Unfortunately, we're not there yet, but that would be something that would be awesome, and kind of a goal that I would like to see moving forward for this type of technology to be accessible to all students.
Oh, that's really cool. Thank you. That's all I wanted to know.
One other point, just to add, and that was really a great question. To address what you asked, the reason also why we focus on story is because there's a lot of power in story. Story is epistemology in terms of how we come to know who and how we are in the world, the real world, the virtual world. So there is a big emphasis that we have on getting people to tell their stories and share their stories. And it's also another way of how we get to come to know each other and become closer in the large global world that we have. And the spaces that we have now that are like alt space are wonderful for being able to share our stories with a global audience and to be seen and valued and heard.
And that question goes straight to Dan's question, which was, and he texted it to me, and he wants to know what the learning curve is for the students in XR, specifically and what you do to deal with that. How do you get everybody up to speed and have some sort of equity in your deployment of XR? I think, Dan, is that good enough? It works? Okay. So, and we have about 6 minutes left in the session, probably about 4 minutes left, and then we'll be teleporting back. So, ladies, how do you deal with equity in the deployment and when you're dealing with different skill levels and different learning?
I will share one quick point, and then I'll let my team share. What I've found is that in the work that I've done, and I work mostly with graduate students and teacher candidates who are wanting to be teachers, who don't always have a lot of experience with technology, who sometimes have less experience with technology than many of the students that they teach. And what I've found is these beautiful opportunities for the people in my classes to come together and to teach each other. So there are always experts that teach those who are more novice, and it creates different roles and opportunities to collaborate. And that's something that my students consistently tell me that they like about my courses is they like learning new tech projects, and they like that we have a team approach so we can all learn together, and it seems to actually make us really gel as a team. because we need each other.
Yeah, and I wanted to say also that I echo Paula's comments about the equity issue, and for us is that we usually start with programs that the kids are, can be familiar with the help of their teachers. So, for example, from our point, we start with creating stories with PowerPoint because PowerPoint is mostly available on most computers in the schools, and PowerPoint, for example, is very familiar to some of the teachers. So we can start with telling a story and creating a story using PowerPoint, using the simple functions of a PowerPoint. And then from that, we slowly take those skills and then slowly create the more immersive kind. But you're right. To get into that immersive space, there needs to be a special skill set.
Well, ladies, I would like to thank you all, and I'd like to get a big round of applause. Laurel will tell me if I came up on stage at the wrong time like I did in the other talk. Am I okay, Laurel? Okay. All right. Thank you so much for sharing all of your knowledge. Thank you for teaching us how to teach better and for all the effort you put into to what you do and to bring up the next generation of students that will be the next generation of teachers. We have the next talk will be starting in 3 minutes. What we normally do is we create a portal, which is always fun, guys, right? And we jump into that other space and take a picture as soon as we get there. And so over there, you see Diamond creating a portal, and we'd like you all to join us in the next talk. And then don't forget after the next talk, dance party. Tom Furness, I'm looking at you. Buddy, where are you? Dance party. So everybody jump into and I'll meet you guys over there. Thank you, ladies, so much for all the effort you put into this. And as always, because we work in tech, there will be tech issues. So we're all patient, we all roll with it, and it's hard as women because if a man messes something up, they're all like, oh, it's the tech, and when we're women, and they're all like, she don't know what she's doing. And so I always feel like really a lot of pressure to always have my tech go straight and right for the first time. So thank you for rolling with it. And you're welcome to come to the next talk, and please join us at our dance party afterwards, okay?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to jump over. Thank you, ladies.
Thank
Bye.
you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.